Good evening, and welcome to Chesapeake Public Schools Family Empowerment Webinar presented by the Office of Family and Community Engagement. I am Lisa Carey, one of the FACE specialists. Our office, which is under the Department of Engagement, seeks to create meaningful partnerships in order to inspire, engage, and empower families, educators, and community agencies to support the initiatives of Chesapeake Public Schools. We are typically available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. and can be reached by our main phone line at 757-482-5923, or you can email us at faith, F-A-C-E, at cpschools.com. We are excited to offer our families a course catalog entitled Peak Parent University that outlines all of our events for the school year. You can also catch up on pre-recorded webinars, access a wealth of educational resources, and make community connections to promote your family's well-being. Please visit www.cpschools.com and search for Peak Parent University. Tonight, we're excited to have you joining us for information regarding programs for 4-year-olds. Before I introduce tonight's panelists, I want to let you know we are recording tonight's webinar to be placed on Chesapeake Public Schools YouTube channel. Additionally, as an attendee, you are automatically muted, your cameras and chat features are disabled. Please place all of your questions in the Q&A box located at the bottom of the screen. We will answer all questions at the conclusion of tonight's webinar. We have several 4-year-old programs available for our Chesapeake families. Each of our panelists will share important information regarding the programs and how to register. At this time, I would like to introduce each of our panelists and ask them to give a little wave. First, we have Mrs. Lauren Perez, Chesapeake Preschool Initiative, or CPI Coordinator. Next, we have Mrs. Christine Starkey, Early Childhood Special Education Intake Specialist for Chesapeake Public Schools. We also have Ms. Tanya Murphy, Family and Community Engagement Coordinator for HRCAT, the Head Start program. And we have Ms. Emily Edmonds, Thrives Coordinator for Chesapeake Department of Human Services. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Let's get started with tonight's webinar. For our agenda this evening, we will start with CPI enrollment information, followed by reverse mainstream and special education. Then we will hear information regarding Head Start, followed by community resources available for parents of 4-year-olds. At this time, I'd like to turn the program over to Mrs. Lauren Perez. Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you, Ms. Carey. I appreciate the introduction. As Ms. Carey mentioned, I am the preschool coordinator for the Chesapeake Preschool Initiative, and I am thrilled to be here today to give you some important information about CPI. CPI is a full-day program serving 4-year-olds within the Chesapeake community. It is a state-driven program that is designed to capture our various factors of at-risk preschoolers to ensure that they have their readiness as they begin their educational journey. CPI does align with the Chesapeake Public Schools District. That means that we have a full day of instruction and our hours are consistent with the other grades K through 5. We also follow the Chesapeake Public School calendar regarding school openings and, of course, the school closings. We are currently hosted within 7 buildings, which are listed on the screen. However, please know that we serve all areas and schools of Chesapeake within our own school feeder system. That means any student that is accepted into our program will attend their designated CPI school, even if it is not their kindergarten home zone school. Transportation is provided as long as you are attending your designated CPI school. Please understand that we do have limited positions within our program. We currently are able to have 360 students in the program, and we do maintain wait lists for each site. There are 20 classrooms total, and each classroom has 18 students. Every classroom has 2 highly qualified educators. That means they have a teacher as well as a teacher assistant. Both of the educators inside every classroom are Chesapeake Public School employees, and the teachers have obtained a full Virginia teacher's license. We are aligned with the newer VQB5 system within the Department of Education. So we are maintaining strong interactions as well as utilizing other platforms to ensure educational success. So our curriculum is Stream in 3, which focuses on SEL, play, and the early learning development standards. We also use Heggerty, a phonological awareness program, and students are able to blend learning and technology with the Hatch Ignite program. We do administer assessments up to 3 times a year. These assessments encompass math and literacy skills, as well as self-regulation and social skills. On the right-hand side, there is a sample schedule of how the day is broken down. There are 2 meals a day, along with an opportunity for a snack. A 1-hour nap and outdoor recess is built around the instructional components as well. There are structured times for learning through play, whole group, and small group activities. In order to apply for this program, you do have to be found eligible and offered a spot. To be eligible, your child needs to be 4 by this upcoming September, a Chesapeake resident, and you need to align with at least one of our eligibility factors. So let's dive into our eligibility factors. So these are some of the factors that are considered when determining if a student is eligible. Each of these are presented within the application process and you are able to elaborate or explain during the screening process, which will occur after you apply. So if you are interested in applying for CPI, there are 3 steps to the process. First, a parent or guardian would apply through the online registration system that is online. You can find the online registration through the Chesapeake Public Schools Early Learning CPI website. Once your online registration has been processed within the CPI department, a personal member from CPI will contact you to schedule a screening appointment where an individualized conversation will occur. They will review your application and you will be able to address any questions that you might have. At the beginning of July, all families will receive notifications of their status. If offered a position and the parent accepts the position, information will be given to finish enrollment at the school. It is important to note that while applications are accepted well into the school year, guaranteed screenings only are upheld through June 15th. For anyone who applies after June 15th, your application will still be accepted, but you will be placed automatically on that wait list. So there are documents that are required for submitting your CPI online registration. They are listed here for your convenience. The items in the box are only required if it pertains to your family. And as you move forward, if you have any questions or want to contact our department, you are welcome to reach out via phone or email. And thank you again for having me share this brief overview of CPI. I'm going to go ahead and pass the presentation over to our next preschool point of contact, Ms. Starkey, the ECSC coordinator.
And thank you, Ms. Perez. We are going to go over now the next section on here, and this is going to be early childhood special education. Early childhood special education is offered in all of our public schools, all of our elementary and primary buildings. You do have to be found eligible to attend early childhood special education. The long-term goal for our preschool age children who have been found eligible and they have a delay or a disability is to participate in early intervention so that we can help narrow that gap of the delay so that when they're compared to other children their same age, they'll be ready for school by the time it's time for them to enter kindergarten. Our earliest learners who have identified delays or disabilities, they may be eligible to attend one of our early childhood special education classrooms. This is for students ages 2 to 5. They need to be residents of Chesapeake, and the students must be found eligible for special education services. To be found eligible for special education services, it is a bit of a process, and it could take up to approximately 3 months. If students are found eligible for the program, there is no cost for the service. We are guided by federal and state laws. We do have to provide child find, and that is defined underneath of several different federal and state laws. We are actively looking and screening students to see if they qualify for special education services. If you suspect that your child has a disability or developmental delay, you would call our early childhood assessment team. This team is located at the Edwards Wilson Center. A referral can be made by anyone. It can be made by a parent, grandparent, daycare, or hospital personnel. To be referred, the child must be 2 years old by September 30th of the current school year. There also must be a suspected disability or developmental delay, and this could be in several different areas, such as speech and communication, social skills, motor skills, or problem-solving skills. When you call to make the referral, information such as name, phone number, email address, home address of the child, date of birth of the child, and parent information will be taken. Other information will also be asked at this time through a phone interview, just such as birth history, a few medical history questions, and then the reason for the developmental concern. So what will happen if you call the Edwards Wilson Center to make a referral to the ECAT team? A child study committee meeting will be scheduled. When you call and make the referral, the meeting must be scheduled within 10 business days of the referral. The child study committee meeting will be held at the Edwards Wilson Center in the South Norfolk section of Chesapeake. We ask that a child and a parent attends the meeting. However, both parents can attend and other individuals that know the child can attend. There will be members from Chesapeake Public Schools to also attend this meeting, such as a chairperson, an early childhood special educator, evaluator, such as speech therapist, a school nurse, and then anyone else, again, that knows the child is more than welcome to attend. The meeting is a fairly informal meeting, and it's held in a small room that's set up very much like a classroom. The committee will interact and play with your child and ask questions. They will talk with you about your concerns and how the child has been developing. At this meeting, the committee will then make some recommendations. Recommendations can go several different directions. The committee can say, your child's development looks great. It's within normal limits. The committee could say, there are some concerns. However, they're not necessarily impacting education. So we will give you other resources that you can then call and get some assistance. Or the committee may see some concerns and they may recommend moving forward in the process. If evaluations are recommended, the committee may make several recommendations or one. Here is a sample of what type of evaluations that may be requested. Psychological and developmental, compare the child to other children same age to see if there's areas of development and areas of need. Social history is how the child is doing behaviorally, adaptively, in the community and at home. Speech language will look at several different things, including if the child is using language to communicate or if they're using another means to communicate. Vision and hearing are always requested when other evaluations are requested. We want to ensure that students are able to hear and see the evaluations that are being done. And an observation of the child will also be requested if the committee thinks that evaluations need to be asked for. At that time, the child study committee chairperson will also explain all of these and the special education process. We do have to have parental consent to move forward with any evaluations. After that, what may happen is if the child is found eligible for special education services, an IEP is written, so an individualized education program. The IEP will look at all of the evaluations that were requested and what the child was found eligible for. The program is going to be written individualized for the child. Therefore, services and goals will be absolutely individualized and written specifically for the child's need. The team may request that your child attends an early childhood special education classroom or maybe attends speech therapy. In our buildings, we have early childhood special education classrooms located in all elementary and primary buildings. Programs are half day, and again, will be individualized to your child's need, meaning will it be 1 day a week to 5 days a week? Will it be hour to 2 hours? And if eligible, transportation will be provided. Our classroom staff ratio is at most 1 to 5 students. We have certified early childhood special education teachers in our classrooms with a teacher assistant. For more information, here is the number to the Early Childhood Assessment Team. Again, we are located at the Edwards Wilson Center, and we fall underneath of the Department of Exceptional Learning. The next program that we have is the Reverse Mainstream Program. The Reverse Mainstream Program goes hand in hand with our early childhood special education classrooms. The Reverse Mainstream Program is for peer role models, students who reside in the city of Chesapeake and are 3 or 4 years old. Again, peer students participating in the Reverse Mainstreaming Program must be 3 years old by September 30th, and they cannot be older than 5 on or before September 30th. The Reverse Mainstream Program allows for students who are typically developing to participate in early childhood special education classrooms. These peer role models are put into all of our early childhood special education classrooms, and they are models of age-appropriate classroom and play skills. The opportunity with the Reverse Mainstream Program allows not only the Reverse Mainstream students, but our early childhood special education students to grow. The peer role models are children without developmental delays or disabilities, and research shows that peer modeling can be used to increase and strengthen all children's skills, reverse mainstreaming students, as well as our early childhood special education students. Peer role models are a positive role model in the classroom. Benefits of the Reverse Mainstream Program is our early childhood classrooms foster a language-rich environment and where students learn through play. The students will have that small staff to student ratio again of 1 to 5. They will help develop positive self-esteem, and they'll learn acceptance of others. You will not see our students completing worksheets or repeating letter sounds. However, we will be participating in the Stream in 3 curriculum, same as the Chesapeake Preschool Initiative classrooms. Our students will be engaged in child-led activities and routines and interactions that foster creative thinking and learning. We encourage positive social interactions between all of the students and building relationships between staff and peer. So if you're interested, there are some next steps. You will go onto our Reverse Mainstreaming website, which is off of the Chesapeake Public Schools website. You will get that website here in the next couple of slides. If you're interested, you will go and you will register with the Reverse Mainstreaming application. Submitting an application does not guarantee acceptance into the program. After you submit the application, you will be contacted by the school, and they will schedule a developmental screening for the reverse mainstreamer. Those appointments will be made late April to the beginning of May. At the appointment, a parent must accompany the child to the school, and during that developmental screening appointment, parents will complete some paperwork, and the child will engage with our early childhood special education teachers and the staff through play. The teachers are interacting through play to see if there's age-appropriate skills in language, self-independence and self-care, the ability to initiate play and conversation with other children, and the capacity to follow directions and routines. After the developmental screening is completed, families will be notified if your child has been accepted into the program. Please know that each school will have varying times to make these notifications. There is a small fee for the reverse mainstreaming. It is a flat fee for the entire year, and it will be completed if your child is accepted into the program and after enrollment is completed. However, there is the ability for tuition assistance if needed. If you would like more information, please check out our website. That is where also the application link is located. And at this time, I am going to now turn it over to Ms. Tanya Murphy. She's from the Hampton Roads Community Agency Program, and that's also known as HRCAP.
Tanya, don't forget to unmute.
Thanks for that great introduction. My name is Tanya Murphy. I am the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator for the HRCAP Hampton Community Action Program. Head Start is a nationally federally funded preschool program that offers school readiness skills and other comprehensive services to children ages 3 and 4 years old and their families to help them become more self-sufficient. Our focus of services are education, health and dental screenings, nutrition, mental health disabilities, home visits, transportation, family support services, school readiness, and parent engagement. Our classroom hours are full day, 8:30 a.m. until 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Our Carver Center hours are from 8:15 a.m. to 2:45 p.m. We have qualified nurturing teachers, and we do use the creative curriculum. And there are services offered for children with disabilities. The areas that we serve are Chesapeake, Hampton, Newport News, Norfolk, and Portsmouth. If you have any questions regarding HRCAP Head Start, you can contact me. I am, again, the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator and our Family Services person, Carmen Kelly, and the information is listed in front of you. Now we'll pass the baton to Emily Edmonds, and she will be providing information on child care resources.
Thank you, Tanya. Yes, I am Emily Emmons. I am the Chesapeake Thrives Coordinator, and I'm going to give you some information regarding some other childcare options and resources, as well as some information about resources that you can find with the City of Chesapeake. So starting off, I would just like to go over some information regarding where you can find resources for childcare. Childcare VA is a website. They have information regarding licensing, subsidy, and professional development. So if you do get into like reverse mainstream or HRCAP, you go to Head Start and you may need before and after care for your child, you can utilize this website to find childcare options. You would go here and then you can click where it says Find Care. And if you click there, you can search to find options. You can put in a specific name. You can also look up in the zip code, and it's broken down into childcare centers, family day homes, licensed family day homes, or religiously exempt centers. This is also an option if you are unable to actually get into like a Head Start program or the CPI and you're looking for full day preschool. You can search and find information regarding facilities up here. So up there, you can find old inspection reports if you want to know things that a program may have gotten a violation for or accolades for. You can find that information as well as details regarding their operating hours and where they serve. Most of the child care centers, each one, they run differently and separately. So they utilize their own curriculum, and you can ask them about information regarding the type of programs it offers as well as their hours of operation. So with that, those centers are private pay, but you could qualify for what we call subsidy. And if we go back to the other slide, I can tell you some information regarding subsidy. You can utilize the website called Common Help. So if you go to commonhelp.virginia.gov, that is where you can find information to assist with paying for childcare. It is the same website you would utilize if you're applying for any type of service. But if you go up there, you would click Get Started, and then you can select like childcare and then put that in specifically to start your application. And anybody that has a child that is 5, that has not yet started school yet, and under, then you qualify for higher income guidelines for childcare assistance. So that basically means that you can have a higher income in your household and still possibly qualify to receive financial assistance to pay for your childcare. So I recommend that everybody go up here and apply so you can find out your options and see if you are able to afford, because sometimes you can qualify for free or reduced costs. Childcare Aware is another website that can be utilized for a search and research information. They have information regarding availability and accessibility, and also they are able to connect you directly with someone that can help you in your search for a childcare provider. So the first website on Childcare VA, that is kind of self-led, where this one is still somewhat self-led, but you can have someone to offer you assistance. They also have information regarding like military funding. If you have financial assistance through the military, they can connect you with those military providers as well. So I recommend going up here and searching around on the website if you are having a tough time trying to find a childcare center to meet your needs. And one of the last resources I want to discuss is actually our Chesapeake Resource Guide. So the Chesapeake Resource Guide, we have them in print. You may have seen them throughout the city, but online on our City of Chesapeake website, it is available for you to search. And you can find information regarding different resources, not just childcare, but anything that you may need, from food pantries to teen classes to summer programming. You can go on the City of Chesapeake website and search in the resource directory. And underneath categories, if you click there, you can break it down to see what you want to find out information regarding specifically, and then different programs will come up with their contact information. So if you're trying to get connected with any type of resources or support and you just not know where to start, you can look on this website for that as well. But if you are having a tough time struggling finding from that website, then I would recommend contacting 382 City. 382 City is the contact information for Chesapeake Thrives. And Chesapeake Thrives is basically, it's a partnership, and we connect residents with services basically at any stage of your life. So we have 8 priority areas, and they are aging in the community, behavioral health, early childhood, health, housing, poverty and economic support, school age program support, and workforce development. And so if you are trying to find information regarding financial assistance or programs, or even just what type of activities are going on in the area, you can contact 382 City, which is 2489, to get connected to that. So if you click where it says Chesapeake Thrives on this slide, it'll actually take you to the Thrives website. And on there, you can find some links and some videos just about some different information that we have. And so If you're on the Chesapeake Thrives portion of the site, this is constantly being updated. So you can find information regarding those 8 priority areas I discussed, as well as on the left-hand side, where it has additional resources, that is where you can go to search. If you click resources on that plus arrow on the left, that is where you can get connected back to the actual resource guide that I showed earlier, where it says Chesapeake Resource Guide. So if you are ever in need of finding information, it does not necessarily have to be a crisis. Sometimes people feel like if they're not in a crisis, then they don't have to contact the number, but we just want it to be known that 382 City is a resource for all citizens to utilize, to be connected to services, to know that there's no wrong door to approach to get information in the city of Chesapeake. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me today, and I would like to turn the program back over to Ms. April Daniels.
I just want to thank all of tonight's panelists for their wealth of information. At this time, we will answer any questions that you may have. It looks like one of our questions that we have is, I am interested in all 3 of the programs. Do I have to apply to all 3?
I can take this one. If you are interested in all 3, you are certainly welcome to apply individually to Head Start, CPI, and perhaps Reverse Mainstream. However, I do want to make sure you're aware that we are a collaborative unit, and in the CPI application, I know I talked about how the application is embedded inside of the online registration. There is opportunity to express interest in Head Start as well as Reverse Mainstream, and if you do so, then the CPI department will work collaboratively with Head Start as well as Reverse Mainstream to make sure that they are aware of your interest as well. So you are welcome to express interest through CPI application. And of course, you're also welcome to apply individually to each of the 3 separate applications as well.
Thank you, Lauren. Okay, it looks like another question. I am already a parent in Chesapeake Public Schools. Does that change anything with my application?
I believe it does not change anything for Reverse Mainstream or Head Start, but I will let Ms. Starkey and Ms. Murphy elaborate on that if it does. But within CPI, it does just a little bit. So if you already have a student within Chesapeake Public Schools, that means you already have a Parent View account. So if you already have a Parent View account, then that means you're actually going to log into your Parent View first, which is going to connect you to that online registration piece. So you would log into Parent View, and from there you would click on the 2425 CPI registration button. If you do not have a child in Chesapeake Public Schools, then it's going to ask you to create a Parent View account through that registration process.
Specific to Head Start, if you have an application with Chesapeake Public Schools, it wouldn't impact your applying to the Head Start program. If you have a child that was previously enrolled in the Head Start program, then you would send correspondence through the Head Start email that's on our website, and we would just go in and update your information to the 24-25 program year, because it will not allow you to create a duplicate application.
And for reverse mainstreaming, it does not, being a parent does not necessarily do anything for our initial application, but similar to what Ms. Perez said, it will help out if your child is selected for the program and with that enrollment process.
Okay, thanks everybody for that feedback. One last question. It looks like, how long will my child remain on the wait list if my child is waitlisted?
I can go first again. So we keep our wait list open all year long. It is unpredictable to be able to state really how often we have movement or to be able to say the average length of somebody remaining on the wait list. But I do want to reiterate that it is something that we maintain all year long, and our department will occasionally check in with parents to make sure that they are still interested to be on the wait list. But you are welcome to call up at any time to be able to ask to make sure that your file is up to date if anything changes.
And I see that there is another question that popped up about if you apply for both the CPI and reverse mainstreaming, how can you make sure that you have the best chance to specify that first choice of CPI? And in the application, like Lauren had said, that there is a place to click to say that you're interested in reverse mainstreaming. And if you do, while you're on the wait list, the spot opens for CPI, we understand that you would prefer to attend that program, and you will also be given a prorated refund if your child does move in the middle of the year from the reverse mainstreaming program to CPI.
Specific to Head Start, we do, all applications are initially waitlisted, and that puts them in a position to be accepted. And we'll begin accepting children for enrollment in May, June.
Okay, that looks like that's all the questions that we have for this evening. If you should have any questions about available four-year-old programs, or if you need additional resources, please contact us at face@cpschools.com. Thank you for joining us, and remember, families and communities work better together.